A train groping and a murder seem to occur simultaneously. Yagami relentlessly pursues these cases, attempting to poke holes in each. After confronting Akihiro Ehara, the key figure in both crimes, he witnesses a harrowing video that provides more questions than answers. In it, a bound man pleads for his life, but his attacker, bound by vengeance, snuffs it out.
So the murder footage is already making the rounds online. I don't think it's showing up on TV, though.
Yeah, the net's a mess right now. It's all unsubstantiated rumors and unverified sources.
Do we know if that video is authentic? I mean, CG has come a long way, right?
Oh, or perhaps a deep fake. That is plausible.
Can't guys like you tell if a video is fake or not, though? Aren't there any signs?
Oh, there are several telltale signs of a video being doctored. So I ran every check I could think of on the murder footage. And wouldn't you know it, nothing came up. Most likely, we're looking at the real deal.
Most likely?
Well, no one can claim with absolute certainty that it wasn't altered in some way. Which means it's not substantial enough to prove Ehara's guilt. At least not in a court of law.
But I'll bet it ultimately came from Mikoshiba's killers, no matter how real or fake it is.
How do you figure?
Think about it. No one could have staged that unless they knew the specifics of how Mikoshiba was killed. From how he was positioned to little things like the blood on the ground, every last detail was just as the detectives described it. Really, guys?
Oh man, he just got ran over. Brutal.
By any chance, Yagami-kun, are you working on a case for Saori? A video got leaked. It depicted a man committing a murder.
Are you here about the Ehara case too?
Of course. The prosecutor's office is in total chaos right now, especially the higher-ups.
I'll bet. After all, they're the ones who pushed for Ahara's battery conviction. If that video is real, that would mean Ehara got them to hand him a slap on the wrist instead of a murder conviction.
Yes. And it's not like the prosecution can say, "Sorry, Your Honor, we'd like a do-over," after the fact. Needless to say, our office is going through this footage with a fine-tooth comb. That said, they've already determined their stance. They've deemed it an unreliable source and therefore useless as evidence. Basically, they want it to look like it was considered and already thrown out.
Huh? So, they're not gonna verify the video? Not even question Ehara about Mikoshiba? Nothing?
Nope. Not after it was proven in court that Ehara committed sexual battery on October 7th. I mean, wouldn't you say a conviction has a certain finality to it? Besides, there's no way Ehara could have murdered Mikoshiba within that limited time span.
Right.
Which means the murder video doesn't really add up, does it?
What are you getting at?
I'm saying the prosecution believes the video has been falsified. Special effects, CGI, whatever it is, we're not buying it.
Huh.
Furthermore, the prosecutor pushing that stance was the one who handled Ehara's trial.
And that is...
His name is Sadao Takano. He was the one gunning the hardest for Ehara the first time around, especially considering his officer status. He kept insisting justice be served.
So what you're saying is Takano could never accept anything but Ehara's original sentence. Since this footage of the murder contradicts that finding, he just thinks it's a sham.
Yes, and he'd add that a fair trial's result can't be challenged by some video on the internet.
But if the police aren't allowed to see Ehara,
He'll never even become a suspect in the murder. That means he's untouchable.
So the case goes cold, all to save face for the court and the prosecution. If Ihara really did commit murder, it'll have been the perfect crime. This debacle only serves as proof.
True. It would turn the trial into a farce. There's no way we're letting this go.
This whole time, we've been writing Ihara as a convicted sexual predator. But it's looking more and more likely the court played right into his hand. As for me, I'm done being played for a fool.
That was one of the prison wardens. He was asked to convey a message from Ihara.
About what?
In short, he won't be speaking with his representation any further.
You're joking.
To be more specific, he said he's not taking any more questions. It seems he fully grasps the situation, even in custody.
How is that even possible?
I'm guessing the murder footage that was uploaded yesterday was also planned out in advance. That or Ihara's conspirators have to be filling him in. How else could he predict we'd try to see him again so soon?
I can see either of those scenarios making sense.
But only someone on the force could be leaking insider information to him like that.
Damn. This shit's turning into a full-blown conspiracy, eh, Doc?
Whatever it is, it's screwing up our plans.
The first thing I want to learn is whether Ihara is really the murderer in this footage. Given the entire sexual battery incident as an alibi, there is no way he could have murdered Mikoshiba. However, this new footage knocks the bottom out of that premise.
Right. Either his alibi or the murder footage. One of the two's been fabricated. I think we should revisit the harassment case. When the sentence came down in court, no one expected it to end up as a murder alibi. Plus, everyone suspected Ihara was working alone. He may have not been. All this makes a huge difference. No one would suspect a train groping to involve accomplices or alibis. The search for evidence wouldn't be as intense as for a murder.
But the entire incident was caught on camera, top to bottom. There's more than enough physical evidence, too.
This part's still getting to me.
The Shinjuku station diagram? Did something happen at the platform?
Well, the majority of the incident was caught on camera. But I don't think we have any footage of what happened around here. It's not much, but it's a blind spot all the same. Hoshino-kun and I confirmed that at the scene.
Okay, but how would this blind spot change anything?
The first thing that comes to mind is, gives Ihara a chance to swap with the stand-in. The real Ihara murdered Mikoshiba in Ijincho at 7:30, then headed to Shinjuku Station. Then, just after 9 o'clock, he swapped places with the stand-in, getting caught on purpose.
So you're suggesting that there were two Iharas at Shinjuku Station?
Yep. And the true assailant, the Ihara look-alike, disappeared into the crowd.
Wait, if what you propose is true, does that mean Ihara never touched the victim?
Yeah.
But the police inspection revealed trace fibers from the victim's clothing on Ihara's hand.
Trace inspection.
Yeah, so no matter what, the fact that Ihara touched the victim remains standing. Perhaps if we talk to Mamiya-san directly, she could give us more insight than that video. She may even recall something none of us know, upon learning Ihara's alibi might have been fabricated.
That's a good plan. We'll finally have a fresh source of info.
In that case, give me a moment so I can get a meeting set up.
You think they want something? Bet it's not a friendly hello.
They do look like they mean business.
This Arcade's idea of an ambush? How basic.
Kaito-san, there's more.
Over there, too.
Same losers from yesterday. Guess they want to settle the score.
Looks like they rounded up some buddies and waited for us to show. Guess their plan was to come at us in waves. I've about had it with this crap.
Yeah. At this rate, we won't be meeting Sari-san and the others. Wouldn't want to drag them into this.
right. So why not hit Arcade at home?
Yeah?
Why not? Soma and Akutsu are at the top, and they probably remember me. I'll just ask them real nice to keep their goons off our back. Unless you want to keep dealing with these fucking scrubs.
I'm fine with making a house call. Any idea where it is?
Yeah, a club in the back of Theater Square. Used to be Arcade exclusive. Nowadays, I hear they let in thugs from all over.
Hey, who the hell are you two? Got some invitations?
About time you showed up. We've been expecting you.
Nothing like running into an old friend.
You want to talk to Akutsu-san, fine. But only Kaito gets in.
What? So I really have to just wait in the lobby?
You should thank your lucky stars you're not dead yet.
I don't know about this, Kaito-san. What if you need backup?
Relax, Doc. All I gotta do is talk man-to-man with Akutsu real quick, and we'll be out of here.
You heard the man. Now come on.
Well, if it's gonna be that quick, I'll just wait right here.
Do whatever you want.
You're shit for business.
Ah, come on. Don't you want to be friends? And all you do is fool around on your phone. Talk about living on Easy Street.
Screw you.
Hey, not my fault they don't loop you into the good jobs. Bet those only go to the A-rank guys. You must be, what, F? F minus?
The fuck did you just say?
Oh, did I offend you? Sorry. Guess some gangbangers are softies.
I'll show you who's soft, asshole!
Sorry. Getting split up from my buddy does make me kind of an asshole.
That's no good to get smacked inside your head after you're done taking a
Sorry,
leak.
man. Take a quick breather.
You know, no one check the bathroom. There's like a random dude in his underwear in there. It's just a heads up. Throw ball. Sorry about that, dude. I guess I gotta take him down. Wanna let me up the stairs. Take a little nap.
Take a nap, bud.
That's what I just said. Hey, stop stealing my lines.
I hate to say it, Akutsu. I'm in a price bracket you couldn't afford if you wanted to.
I'm not saying you'd need to call it quits on the detective gig you've got going, Kaito-san. You can just give us a hand, help us out a bit when RK needs some real muscle on the field.
That a fucking joke? On what planet would I sign up for more busy work?
Think you might want to tone it down there, big guy? I've got my boys in the room. Being talked to like this isn't a good look.
Go out there and build your dream gang if you want. I don't give a shit. That said, if you keep bugging me about this shit, I'm gonna make sure you regret it. Keep your fucking distance from us.
Did you say us? Are you refusing to join up because you have a partner? Bring Yagami along for all I care.
Did you hear a word of what I just said?
Have it your way, then. Hey, round up the boys.
Sir. Hey! Get off your asses!
Too late for that. I knew exactly how this little chat was gonna go down.
Son of
Yeah, well, I knew exactly where you'd be for a chat you weren't invited to.
Well, if you're done over there, shall we get back down to business?
You're not walking out of here.
If you don't know how to use that thing, you're gonna cut yourself, man. You sure?
You fuckers are the ones who don't know shit. This whole damn town belongs to the arcade now, you know.
Now the whole town belongs to you, huh? You fucking morons. You're gonna have to pry this town out of my hands!
Now I understand why you wanted Kaito on your side.
Still got anything you want to say, Akutsu?
I can appreciate your perspective on this, Kaito.
In that case, you better leave us the hell alone.
Yeah, we can do that. We get it. It's fine. Right, Akutsu?
Why are you here? Aren't you busy?
Just checking in. You made quite a mess here.
Tak, meet Soma. He's the leader of the RK.
Yeah, I kind of figured.
You keep saying we, but I don't think you know what's going on. You just gonna waltz in here and bark orders?
Kaito-san turned down your offer, didn't he? And the other guy is Yagami from his own detective agency. Before that, he was an accomplished lawyer. Now he's with Kaito-san independently.
It's my job to be running HQ, though. You shouldn't roll up unannounced.
I'm supposed to leave you to your own devices? I do have to check in, at least to show my face.
Got a cold?
It's a dust allergy, actually. Tough thing to live with. And I used to catch hell for it in the Yakuza. Quit that infernal sniffling, they'd say.
Yeah, that couldn't have been easy, man. I bet they would beat the shit out of you if you didn't blow your nose.
You know it. I do wish we'd had the time to work together, Kaito-san. You as well, Yagami-san. It may feel like we're a small-time outfit in the immediate term, but RK will grow. We'll show you. But in the meantime, we'll leave the two of you be. Does that work?
Finally, some sense. Best of luck with the growth. As the leader here, you need brains and brawn.
Something else?
Your gang was out there searching for some guy in a picture. Oh, how'd that hunt end up turning out? He was some kind of girls' bar manager, wasn't he? It sounded like he'd disappeared from Kamurocho more than a few years back. You have any luck tracking him down?
We actually found that he's unfortunately dead. Likely murdered. Considering Kamurocho's reputation and the nature of his profession, I can't say I'm all that surprised.
Got it. I guess I was just kind of curious.
Always happy to oblige a detective.
I guess we shouldn't have taken RK so lightly, even though they're new to the scene.
Yeah. Supposedly Soma's the one who spearheaded the campaign to scoop up all the ex-Tojo. Turns out he's teaching the next generation of thugs about protection money, loan sharking, mugging. He's like an unemployment agency for shitheads. They've got 50 full-time bodies so far, but if you include part-timers and other associates, they may be well over 2,000 strong.
Sorry-san's calling. Hello?
It's Shirosaki. Sorry for the wait. I found our file on Ahara's victim.
Ah, Mamiya-san, right? Yui Mamiya?
Yes, she lives with her family in East Ikebukuro. I'm about to make a quick house call.
Awesome. Then I'll be right over.
Remember, we're speaking to a victim here, Yagami-san. One whose assailant we defended in court. If we had tried to make an appointment, she probably would have declined outright.
Not sure showing up unannounced is much better. But let's just hope she's willing to talk.
Yes, there's no way around it. It's a risk we had to take.
Well, here goes nothing.
Yes?
I'm Shirosaki from the Genda Law Office. The attorney for Mr. Akihiro Ehara.
I don't have time for this. I'm going to have to ask you to leave.
Wait, before you do that. Sorry to butt in. I'm Yagami, a detective helping Saori here out.
And?
Make it sound quick and simple, empathize with her, sweet talker. Sometimes trying to empathize with victims doesn't work, because they call out your bullshit, and they say you don't know what it's like. Sweet talking her, I doubt that would work, but I don't know, never know. Make it sound quick and simple. Maybe that'd be the right approach here? I don't know, we'll see.
I know in your eyes we're just scumbag lawyers defending perverts in court. It was just a paycheck to them, you're thinking. And yes, why should you care?
Wow. It's like you read my mind. If you're so perceptive, shouldn't you know it's time to leave?
Wait, that's not what I meant at all. Look, that was just an opener.
Alright, fine. Go that route.
If we could do this now, we'd never bother you again. All we need is 10 minutes of your time.
How absurd.
We're only trying to help. But if later would work better for you, we could always come back another time. With our supervisor, of course. That visit would probably be more formal. There'd be paperwork, audio tapes, you know the drill. You'll want to clear your schedule.
I really don't have time for any of that.
No, I understand, and it's entirely our fault. We thought we'd do this casually, but we really should have been more by the book.
Well, hold on. Shouldn't he have said that with the make it sound quick and simple dialogue option, which I picked first? Just saying. Just saying.
But it is a murder case, so we do have to make sure our paperwork is in order here. Now, would you prefer to schedule a date to accommodate a more formal interview?
You said 10 minutes if we do it now, right?
We'll make it as painless as possible.
All right. Hold on.
We really do appreciate it.
Let's just get this over with already. So, Doc, I've already told the police and the court everything they could want to know about that morning.
Would you mind walking us through that day from the beginning?
It's nothing so mysterious. I was just on my way to work when some man grabbed my butt. That's all it was.
Nothing else was out of the ordinary that day?
Correct.
Moving along. On that day, you and Ahara-san boarded the train bound for Ikebukuro, correct? Had you ever seen the man before then?
No. At least not that I can recall. How many times must I go over this? Your lawyer friend here already knows everything I have to say. What do you gain by getting me to repeat things?
That's the thing. Yagami-san here is a specialist. He can take whatever you repeat, analyze it, and draw up an entirely new conclusion. Right?
Of course. That's exactly why I'm here. In the security footage as you stepped onto the train, it looks like Ahara-san stepped right behind you. Were you aware of his presence at this point?
I was. It felt like someone kept pushing up against me with no sense of personal boundaries. I remember second-guessing myself at the time, thinking it was normal for the train to be that packed.
Then the train took off while you were stuck in that situation.
Yes. And then I felt the back of his hand against me. It kept getting worse from there. I just stood there, frozen. I couldn't see who was touching me. I had no idea what to do. I wanted to scream. But what if he just played it off? But just as the train was pulling into Shinjuku, I reached back and grabbed the hand on me. That's when I saw his face. Of course, he shook me off as the doors opened, but I'd already gotten a clear look at him. He must have known I could turn him in at that point. So he ran, and I chased after.
Right. That was captured by the station's security cameras.
Great job tailing him in such a crowded space. On that note, did you ever happen to lose sight of Ahara-san while running?
His cat was pretty easy to spot, and no one else was bolting off the platform like that, so I never lost sight of him. At that point, I could feel my voice returning, so I just screamed, "That man grabbed me!"
I'm glad there were good Samaritans nearby.
For sure. And there were a lot of smartphones out. So I figured there was no way for him to get away with it. I was so relieved.
I see. I think I've got the gist of it. But now we've got a piece of evidence that contradicts what you've told us.
What do you mean?
Well, on the same day, at 6:30 a.m. in Yokohama, a student teacher named Hiro Mikoshiba was sent off to work by his mother. But he was soon abducted near his home, only to be found dead much later in Ijincho.
Is that...
According to the video, Ihara-san here is the murderer.
What?
He killed Mikoshiba in cold blood to get vengeance for his bullied son. His kid was about to graduate high school, but instead, he took his own life. So Ihara took it upon himself to punish his son's tormentor.
That's awful.
But now we come back to the issue here. If this footage is authentic, then Ihara-san couldn't have been your assailant. The victim's estimated time of death and Ihara-san's time of arrival in Tokyo simply don't allow for it. It's just not possible for someone to make that commute. But there's the flip side. If Ihara-san was in fact your assailant, it would mean this murder footage is a fabrication.
I don't know what you expect me to say after all this.
Right? Now you know how we're feeling. That's why we came to see if you had any leads for us.
So that's what this is about.
After hearing your story, I have no doubt you endured a lot that day. Which would obviously mean that murder video was faked.
Then, who shared that video? And why?
Wish I knew. Based on the quality, something this convincing would need quite a budget. Whether it's CG on top of real murder footage, or just a rock-solid AI creation, no way it was cheap. So why go through all this effort to fake a murder? Who would benefit from it? But I have to say, I feel much closer to piecing this puzzle together with your help today. Thank you very much for your time.
Yes, and rest assured this will be the last time you see us. Our apologies for the unexpected visit.
So, the victim's story is completely in line with her court testimony, huh?
That's correct. There wasn't anything new to pick up.
Unfortunately.
In which case, should we look into the murder video instead? Like, figure out how they made it?
Someone had to put it online, right? Do we have any theories on who that might be?
Well, the footage showed enough of the surroundings to make the crime scene clear. As somebody who's been there, I can confirm that the blood splotches match what you see in the footage. Which means the murderer's accomplices have to be the ones who posted it for him.
Yeah, I can't see it any other way.
I also agree with Yagami-san.
But in that case, what would their motive be?
Maybe they wanted to make a mockery of the police, or even the whole system.
Huh?
We know Ihara got himself convicted for groping, so he'd have an alibi for Mikoshiba's killing. But then, his conspirators turned it around by uploading the murder video online. Almost as if to say, look how he got away with it.
Before meeting with Yui Mamiya, didn't you mention the possibility of Ihara using a stand-in? Perhaps the real Ihara murdered Mikoshiba in Ijincho, then swapped places with the imposter so he could be detained.
Remember how we mocked up a diagram of the Shinjuku station platform?
Yeah. Oh, wait! That's it! You could be onto something. There's a point where Ihara wasn't on camera at all.
What is this point you speak of?
There's a moment where Ihara and Mamiya-san can't be seen by the security cameras. The dotted lines on the arrow represent the camera's blind spot.
It does appear so. So you're saying this is where the groper, the fake Ihara, traded places with the real one?
Can't say it's impossible, right?
Right. Except if that actually happened, Mamiya-san would have been right behind them at the time. Could the two really swap places without her noticing?
In a crowd like that, I think it's feasible.
If that really was Ihara's plan, then I'd say he was being careless.
Careless? How?
Well, on the day of the incident, the station was packed for morning rush hour. That means there was no solid guarantee the assailant could make the switch. He could have been nailed by any random passerby before reaching the blind spot.
Good point. Not only that, if Mamiya-san had called for help while the train was still moving, then the first Ihara would have been caught before even reaching the platform.
Oh, I mean, yeah. Called it.
Think about it, Yagami-san. Why would Ihara's accomplices meticulously plan out every last detail of this alibi, only to leave such a crucial component to chance, as Hoshino-kun pointed out?
Oh, just doing my job.
True. Good work, Hoshino-kun. In fact, I think that may back up my own take on it.
Yeah?
What if everything, including the appearance of leaving the plan to chance, was part of the plan?
Can you expound on that?
I'm saying I agree that such an airtight alibi wouldn't have allowed for contingencies. And that takes the question to another level. Just how far did they line up the pieces in advance to make the swap work?
Are you saying there's more to it than we discussed? What did we miss?
I know this won't go over well, but what if Mamiya was colluding with Ihara all along?
Huh?
Bear with me. Let's say Mamiya was in on this, and knew about the imposter in advance. If that's the case, the swap could happen right in front of her and no one but the three of them would know.
You're saying the victim of a groping conspired with her assailant beforehand? That's ridiculous.
Let me just say, I'm only trying to work out how a swap like that would be guaranteed to work. Now, if Ihara and his stand-in both know that Mamiya will pretend not to have seen them, they can trade places in the blind spot with impunity. Conversely, if Mamiya wasn't in on the plan, the idea of a swap would never work. We can say with certainty that she would have seen the swap, so... she could have even called attention to the real Ihara the moment he stepped in. That way, the people around her would be focused on chasing the correct assailant. The rest is as we know it. They caught Ihara and detained him until the police showed up.
Hold that thought. If your theory is accurate, what about Ihara's trace evidence? Remember that fibers of the victim's underwear were detected on his hand.
Well, that can also be explained by Mamiya being in on the plan. For example, while the stand-in was showing himself at the security cameras, Mamiya could have easily provided Ihara access to a pair of underwear at the same time. Maybe the stand-in loitered around for so long because he was letting everyone else get themselves in place.
It's not impossible.
We can work out the other details later. But the point is, Ihara's murder alibi is shot if Mamiya was involved. In summary, it's possible Ihara disgraced himself to secure an unshakable alibi for Mikoshiba's murder.
I'll concede that it's an avenue worth pursuing.
And when it comes to the prosecution, they can't just admit they got the first case so wrong. Plus, they can't question Ihara about Mikoshiba's murder. In fact, their only option is to claim the tape was faked.
So he managed to make a farce out of the system after all.
Well, his court case for his son's bullying did get more or less thrown out, didn't it? The school, the investigative committee, and the court all agreed there wasn't enough evidence to convict anyone. No surprise for me that the guy held a grudge against the system for so long.
Hold on. Before we all decide on this.
What's up?
The obvious question to me is why would Mamiya be party to such a crime? She appears more than financially stable, and she's even raising a child. So why would she do something so enormously risky as helping establish a murder alibi?
Yeah, I haven't gotten that far yet. But maybe she was promised something that far exceeds the risk. Or maybe Ihara has some kind of dirt on her even?
Enough to make her help with a murder? What sort of secret would be big enough to force someone into that corner?
What info do we have on Mamiya anyway? Maybe we can spot a connection to Ihara through her profile.
I'll pull her information. Just a second.
Oh. I just thought of something else those two would have guaranteed by working together.
What's that?
If Ihara wanted to use this crime as a murder alibi, he needed it to blow up into the public eye. But if he had chosen a victim who stayed silent, then nothing would have come of it. A solid plan would need to eliminate that variable, which means Mamiya being an accomplice was crucial to Ihara's success.
That's true.
Looks like Ihara pulled one over on the prosecution then. Had his accomplices right where he wanted them, even his victim. Once we learn how he's connected to Mamiya, we can root out the rest of his team.
Let's see. According to her file, her maiden name is Yui Suzuki. 30 years old, so that's consistent. Originally from Ota, Tokyo. Attended a private high school called Kurakawa Academy. Later graduated from Toto University.
Huh. Hold on. You said she went to Kurakawa Academy? I heard that name in Ijincho. When I went to scope out the murder scene, there were these 3 guys watching the detectives and me. They told us they were just checking things out. They mentioned they're Kurakawa grads too.
You have any ID on you?
Will my license work?
Kake-san, age 30.
Akaike-san, age 30. Mamiya's 30 as well.
What's that got to do with anything? Aren't we trying to find a connection between Mamiya and Ohara?
I found the Kurakawa Academy website. Looks like they're pretty prestigious. It's in Tokyo, specifically in Ota. Pretty close to where Mamiya lived. Oh.
What?
The girls there get such cute uniforms.
You little...
Wait, I've seen that uniform before too, actually.
Where?
On an old picture of a teacher at Seiryo High. Sawa-sensei. Ohara's son had confided in her. Is she actually a Kurakawa grad too? I don't know Sawa-sensei's exact age, but she could well be 30. Maybe all of them are even classmates.
Could this mean they're actually linked? The victim and her up-to-now unrelated assailant?
It's a tenuous link at best. Could fall apart any time. But no true detective alive would pass it up.